Hey, everybody, guess what? It's Monday morning. Thanks for joining us. We have Franklin tomorrow with us this morning. We've got Mindy and Carly. How's it going this morning?
It's great. It's pretty quiet here in Franklin on spring break week, but I'm kind of used to that. I've not been on spring break in a long time.
I know. We were just talking about that. There's a lot of people coming to visit because this is their first time to visit Franklin. And then there's a lot of us who live in the area who will be exiting for a few days.
Let's all just be nice to each other, whether you're from here and you're, as you said, maybe playing tourist in your hometown, or there's someone from another town. Let's just be nice and smile behind the mask. It does actually show, but we're welcoming people as just smiling and waving as we are down here in downtown Franklin.
Yeah. Tell everybody, for people who do not know, since we were just talking about there's so many new people coming to the area, and I feel like even though I know about all these things, I feel like we probably need to reintroduce. So tell everybody what Franklin Tomorrow is all about and what they do.
So Franklin Tomorrow is a community visioning organization and engagement organization. We've been around for over 20 years, and our mission is to engage the community, foster collaboration, and advocate for a shared vision for the future of Franklin. And we do that through a variety of ways, through things like this and on our own website and social media, but also through things like Breakfast with the Mayors or Frank Talks or other programs that people may not, and initiatives that maybe we'll talk about in a little bit, that people may not realize are Franklin Tomorrow. Because I think the big thing is that collaboration aspect. We work really closely with the City of Franklin or Williamson Inc. and other organizations. So sometimes it's that we're collaborating and we're all just working together for the betterment of Franklin.
Yeah, which is so important because as we kind of mentioned in our intro here, Franklin is growing so fast. There's so many new people. And so I think it's good to have a vision or a way to kind of, herd the vision, or so that we all know where we're going.
Well, so last year we took the idea of pursuing the All-America City designation from the National Civic League to the City of Franklin, and we're their partner in being named one of 10 All-America cities by the National Civic League. And we did a 10-minute virtual presentation to the judges, and the final question from one of the judges was, so normally an organization like a Franklin Tomorrow is created out of a crisis. What was the crisis that created Franklin Tomorrow? And we were so proud, alongside Mayor Moore and others, to be able to say there was no crisis. It was really forward-thinking individuals and elected officials 20 years ago looking to make sure that the citizens had a way to have a voice and move forward this great community while maintaining the things that make it so special.
Yeah, which is so important because I feel like there's other communities around us who have not been doing that. And so I think you see their struggles, unfortunately. Maybe you guys can collaborate with one of those.
We love to.
Let's talk about, you have a new initiative coming up, the Civic Index. We just published that story over the weekend. Tell us about how that works. There's a lot of things in this that I find really interesting.
So I'll describe what it is, and then I'll let Carly tell you how we're going to hope to get people engaged. So the Civic Index is going to measure it's 7 components that make up what they call civic capital. And so we'll be measuring civic capital in our community. And civic capital or social capital or human capital are the things that relationships that make a community so special, that collaborative spirit, that engaged residents, that recognition and embracing diversity and culture, and authentic communication, programs like this. So we'll be measuring how that feels in our community to arrive at our Civic Index, but we can only do that by having people participate. And Carly Shore-Jewell is our Director of Community Engagement, and so this will be our test on getting people back engaged through both virtual, but also most likely in-person meetings at the end of April.
Yeah, so right now we're looking for people to be facilitators of the Civic Index conversation with us. And what they'll be required to do is hold an hour-long conversation with people across the community. We're looking to reach every in and out of Franklin, and making sure we're reaching those people. And they will hold these conversations with about 10 or 15 individuals where they will discuss these 7 components of civic capital. So right now, if you want to be a facilitator, please reach out to us. We'd love to have you be a part of it. And then from there, we'll look for people in the community that would love to be a part of these conversations, and then take the survey that will determine our civic index components and what we can do better or what we're doing great in, and kind of analyze that data.
You guys did something similar a few years ago. What was that? I forgot. I'm sorry.
It was called On the Table.
Yes.
And that was a great initiative to bring people together to talk about what's good in our community and how engaged citizens make it a better community. This is kind of taking it a step further, I think, with this program from the National Civic League. We'll be able to talk about these 7 components, and over the next month, we'll be offering examples of how they exist in our community. But it's very important that we involve as many people together as we possibly can. Now, that's difficult right now. So we are working with both a virtual and in-person concept right now for the last couple weeks of April for the actual conducting the Civic Index.
I think that'll be good. I hope people will choose to be a part of that. I did On the Table a few years ago, which was really fascinating. I met some new people, and there were new people to the community. So it was interesting to hear their perspective as someone who's lived here for a while. And so that was really interesting. So I can't wait to see how this one goes.
And we will be looking at the groups and making sure that they are a size that makes people comfortable. We're looking at open air locations as well as hosting some of these conversations virtually. We've had a lot of success with that over the last year through both Breakfast with the Mayors and Frank Talks have continued as virtual programs, and that's been successful for us. And so we hope people will trust us enough to come together in a setting to conduct the Civic Index.
Yeah. You guys also have a new podcast, which are you doing video with that as well, Jesse? The video as well?
So it's been fun. I'll let Carly talk a little bit about that. It's kind of her baby, and I'm just the
host.
So it's in there.
Yeah. Well, it's been fun to kind of, what we've learned over the past year is that people still want to be engaged, even if it's virtual. And, a podcast is a perfect way to reach new audiences and people that maybe don't know what Franklin Tomorrow is or know a lot about Franklin. So we launched it, Front Porch Conversations, because when you meet new people and you have conversations, a lot of time in the South, they're on a front porch, and that's a perfect way to get to know somebody. So we're doing that every month on the second Thursday of the month. And our last episode launched last Thursday with Tom Lawrence, which was great to hear his backstory and learn more about him. But yeah, we're going to continue to do that and just hold conversations with people that maybe we wouldn't normally have a conversation with.
And we're focusing on residents, basically. And while that sounds sort of simplistic, the idea is that we want to hear from people who've lived here a long time, a short time, and get their advice for people who aren't moving here, but also what they've learned about this community. And they're about 20 minutes long, 20 to 25 minutes long. And we have 2 episodes, and they're even on Spotify now.
Yeah.
So you can search Franklin Tomorrow on Spotify and find us. We are hearing already that people want more. They want to see it more frequently or hear it more frequently. And we're trying to balance that in the other things that we're doing as well.
Right.
And then we also believe we'll probably introduce a new program in the first 6 months of this year regarding health of our community and some of the things that we're doing through our Get Fit Franklin initiative, as well as being involved with the mayor's Find Hope Franklin. So there are a lot of things going on here at Franklin Tomorrow.
Wow. Yes, you do have a lot of things going on. Let me ask you, do you have some other guests that you can tease us about that coming up for the podcast?
I think we don't have anyone set in stone, but we're definitely reaching, like we said, with the Civic Index, we want to reach all aspects of Franklin. So we've got some people in the works that I think will be really, really exciting.
And it really, for us, it is somewhat limiting to say, oh, we're doing this once a month, when in actuality, we could go out and do this all day, every day, and put these stories out there, but we don't want to oversaturate this idea. And so we're going to maybe move it up to twice a month in a few months. But we have other things that we're working on and other projects. And so we do all that production in-house. So that's kind of another thing that's a little overwhelming.
Yes. I've heard the startup for those is a lot. But you guys, you've already done a great job. You already got to go. That's half the battle.
Thank you.
You mentioned the mayor's initiative. That has to do with mental health, which I think is such a big topic right now, especially since so many people are unable to get out. And we had a time period where we weren't doing anything and everything was shut down. You had to be at home. I think that we're seeing some of the strains, and even on our students who in the beginning, even last year, even to the beginning of this school year, were not able to be with their friends. That was real. I mean, I've witnessed that as a mom myself. So I think it's really important. I really appreciate that you guys are working on that initiative right now.
Carly and I were talking about specifically the students this morning. We were talking a little bit about that. And just a couple weeks ago, in partnership with Find Hope Franklin and through a grant we received from Vanderbilt Health, we were able to train 11 people in the question, persuade, and refer suicide prevention training through Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network. And now those 11 people are trained and can go out and provide an hour-long class on recognizing warning signs or how you ask questions to make sure whether people need an intervention. And those QPR classes, the mayor likes to say, should be like CPR, where people intervene in a situation, a medical situation, and being able to intervene in a mental health situation is important. And we'll be offering those hour-long classes the last week of March 29th and March 31st, the Monday and the Wednesday, at 2 different times. And one class in the morning, one class in the afternoon. And I think, Donna, that as we come out of this, like you're saying, as we come out of this, having that QPR training and being able to recognize signs. We heard over the weekend that 2 women intervened to stop someone from suicide on the Natchez Trace Bridge. And they literally held on to that person until emergency services could arrive.
Wow.
This QPR training is more about trying to question them about their intent, persuade them to seek assistance, and then being able to refer them appropriately to receive treatment or intervention. There's a lot of great information on the findhopefranklin.com website about resources, and people may want to start there, but they can find the information about the QPR training the last week of March on our website at franklintomorrow.org, and that training is free.
Oh, that's good to know. Well, you guys, yes, please go check that out. I think all of us, whether you have children or not, just like those 2 women who came upon that incident, you never know when you might need to use those skills.
Exactly. And I took the QPR training last year, and it was eye-opening and really, really great to kind of learn those basic skills. So that way you can be prepared when you need to be.
Yeah.
So much stress in our community. And just, I think sometimes knowing that people care enough to ask a deeper question than, are you okay? Mm-hmm. But knowing how to ask something a little beyond that so that they know that someone actually cares may be the difference. And being able to tell them about Find Hope Franklin or refer them for text message. In Tennessee, if you are in crisis, you can text TN to 741-741. And that is the crisis text line. And so it's a great way for people to know that someone cares.
Wow, that's great information. Well, it's great to catch up with you guys. We're going to keep the conversation going with Franklin tomorrow. We're going to have you guys back in a few weeks, and we'll keep everybody updated. Maybe by then you'll be able to tell me some of those other podcast guests that you're holding out on me.
We will. And if people need information, they can go to our website, franklintomorrow.org, or just give us a call, and we're happy to work with anyone. That's our middle name, Collaborate. So we really like to work with other organizations.
I love that. And you guys are right next to the Harpeth Square. So if you want to go have some coffee, go by their office.
Exactly.
Franklin Bakehouse.
I know.
Olive oil.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in the heart of it right
prime
here.
time
So
here.
it's great.
You got, all of a sudden, you've got some really great neighbors over there.
For sure. My waistline is showing it a little bit. So,
have you been to the Italian restaurant yet? That's amazing.
I haven't been yet, but I've heard great things about it.
We've heard great things, and I was supposed to go for lunch last week, and we didn't have more than an hour, and we wanted to savor it, so we're going to do it another day.
All right, we'll check back with you and see if you've made it over there by then. All right, you guys, please go check them out, Franklin Tomorrow. We just want to help introduce and let you know there's so many great organizations that really do help make this community what it is, and so it's great having a conversation with you. We will check back later. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.